Series for Zobrist. Base hit. Here comes Rizzo. Schwarber's delivered 2-0. Schwarber with another base hit. Comes up 4-0. A strikeout ends the inning. Chapman. Ground ball to short. Addison Russell. The Cubs have evened the series.
This is Cubs Postseason Live, presented by Fields Auto Group.
October 10, 1945 was the last time a World Series game was played here at Wrigley Field. And the Cubs lost Game 7 to the Tigers. Fast forward 71 years. And here we are at the corner of Clark and Addison. We get you set Game 3 of the 2016 World Series. The Cubs, the Cleveland Indians. The end of the evening, one of these teams has a 2-1 lead in the chase for a championship. And welcome into our Cubs postseason live alongside my longtime partner, Todd Hollinsworth. I'm David Kaplan. We will have Ryan Sandberg join us a little later, but we are honored to have Rob Manfred, the great commissioner of this great sport we know as baseball, with us. Thank you for taking time. How good is it for Major League Baseball to have not just the Cubs, but the Indians meeting here?
It's been fantastic so far. The atmosphere in Cleveland was great. Our ratings have been unbelievable, and just the entire buzz surrounding the World Series has been the best I can remember. Really outstanding.
How has Chicago treated you so far? I mean, we haven't done these too often. It's been a while. But to be here, to be part of this, how have you taken in all the action today?
It's been great so far. We went to Gibson's, had lunch, my favorite Chicago place. You know, even getting into the ballpark was relatively easy. Wasn't too bad. So it's I'm really looking forward to the game tonight and really glad to be at Wrigley.
I talked to a buddy of mine today. He's a Yankee fan. He lives in New York, and he's like, yeah, enjoy it. He goes, we get those almost every year. And you walk out around here today, and the buzz is insane. People are lined up at 3:30 in the morning. That's got to make you smile.
Oh, it absolutely has to. You know, when you have two compelling storylines like Cleveland, 68 years, Chicago, 108 years, it just makes for a great matchup. You know, our game's generational, and I heard it as I walked around Cleveland. I heard it today here in Chicago. You know, entire fathers, sons, grandfathers who've been waiting for this to happen, and this is the chance.
How important is that for this sport on a whole, to have the diversity inside, different teams winning and different cities getting to experience this?
It's crucial for our sport. You know, what you sell in any sport at the end of the day is competition, and people have to believe that their team has a chance to win. And one of the things we take a lot of pride in, this is the 16th year in a row where we're not going to have a repeat winner of the World Series, and I think that's good for the sport.
There has been talk, boy, oh boy, Cubs should have home field advantage. They got the best record, the All-Star. But I can look at it this way. They get Kyle Schwarber 4 times instead of 3, so that's a good thing. Right. They get weekend games. That's obviously something great for our city. Is there any talk of changing that rule? I don't have as big a problem with it as others.
You know, I've been a defender of the rule, and I've really been a defender of the rule on the basis that it's important to keeping the All-Star game competitive, right? It gives, gives players something to play for in that game. I understand that there are other more intellectually justifiable ways to decide home field advantage, and this is a bargaining year for us, and this will be a topic along with hundreds of others that we'll have conversations about.
We'll talk about that just for a second. Obviously here at the World Series celebrating these two great teams, it's been an incredible run for both of them this year, but the CBA's up. I mean, the state of the game, I've been in the game my entire life. It hasn't been any better. How do we got to make sure that we transition into a 2017 the right way.
I think we will.
Good.
We've learned to work early at our agreements. We did get a nice early start this year. We got a little work still to do, but I remain confident that given how healthy the game is, we're going to find a way to get this one done.
When you look at the DH, I'd always said, I don't like the DH, but Now, and it's not because I'm a Cubs guy and this Schwarber is a perfect DH. I would actually like to see it in both leagues. Any chance that's on the collective bargaining discussion list?
Look, if we were going to get to a single set of rules, it would have to be the DH everywhere. I don't think the American League would ever give it up.
Right.
Would be a very difficult issue for the union, right, because it's a jobs issue for certain types of players. But, National League owners in general like National League Baseball.
Right.
And, it does differentiate the league. And, I said this on a radio show earlier today. Just think about the conversation that the DH, no DH thing has generated surrounding this game, right? Santana, Schwarber.
Interest in your sport.
Right.
When people are talking about the game, that's a great thing for us.
Well, Santana, and I haven't seen the lineups yet, but Santana out in left field maybe. That's what I was hearing from the Indian side of things. Let me ask you about this, because I know I hear it an awful lot on my radio show. The pace of our game, the time of the game. Instant replay is a big part of it. I think most people are on board that this has gone well and the game's in a better place because of it. But the games, some people keep telling me they're getting too long. Like Game 2 got a little bit too long for people.
I agree with you, and I agree with people that say it's too long. This is an issue that the sport needs to stay focused on. And, I went around at the beginning of last year, and we cut about 6 minutes off in 2015. And, I went around, I spoke to the players myself on each team. We kind of focused on it. We had the batter's box rule for the first time. We had the inning clock out there. And, this year was a bargaining year. We didn't make any real changes on pace of game, and we slipped backwards a little bit. But I think our players get that we need to move the game along, and it's up to us, along with the MLBPA, to come up with rules that just keeps it in their front of the mind when they're out there. If somebody's not reminding you, and you're going out there 162 times in 183 days, you slide backwards a little bit. It's natural.
Last one. I keep hearing, how do we get the younger kids involved to enjoy baseball? I've got 4 young kids, and they all are going to be here. They all love baseball. They all come home to watch the Cubs. I have one son flying from Vietnam to be here Sunday. He's an English teacher there. So if the players are compelling, they're willing to reach out to the community like this Cubs team has done, the young kids will find the game.
Look, I agree with you. I think there's a lot of, I think play is a big part. We're trying to be much more competitive in the youth participation market. Kids play the game, they want to watch the game. Right. But I think you put your finger on something that's really important. When you got young, exciting players, I think there's 14 players under the age of 25 on these 2 rosters. Young guys that not only play the game in an exciting way, they're engaged in the community, they're excited about baseball. That's the trick.
Appreciate your time.
All right.
Thank you. Great job.
Nice to talk to you.
There he is. That's Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball. Take a timeout. Ryan Sandberg will join us coming up next right here on CSN. Don't forget, Postgame right after the ballgame.
Cubs Pregame Live is presented by Fields Auto Group. Fields matters because you matter. See Fields first. FieldsAuto.com.
I'm Dan Fields of the Fields Auto Group. We've prepared a Joe Madden Signature Edition vehicle. It will be raffled off at the end of the season with the proceeds going to many of Joe's favorite charities.
But not before I have the pleasure of driving it to and from the ballpark. Thank you, Dan, and everyone at Fields Auto Group for this special vehicle and for making this all possible.
For official raffle rules and complete details on how you can win this Joe Madden signature vehicle, go to FieldsAuto.com.
It is an honor for Fields Auto Group to help good causes like Cubs Charities and Misericordia. Fields matters because you matter.
Hello? This is she.
Is that the doctor?
Okay, wow, really? It's 2? That's great news, thank you.
It's 2?
Yes, it's 2. It's 2 for 1 windows at Feldco.
Feldco is offering 2 windows for the price of 1, with no money down and no interest until 2018.
2 windows for the price of 1 ends Monday. Hurry. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Call you back. Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up!
Shut up!
Ah!
That's why State Farm is there.
What a day.
With car insurance for when things go wrong.
What a day!
But also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
You always do this. You had a couple of pops in you and got cocky. Who's up for a game of wing roulette, you said? Because you thought it'd be funny to watch one of your friends get stuck with the hot one. But your friends, they got teriyaki, then spicy garlic, and then Asian zing. And now you're looking at the last one and you're thinking, my God, what have I done?
And the 2-2.
Home run, Kyle Schwarber.
George, you're an idiot.
I want to get this right, man. Straighten up here a little bit.
All right, welcome in here to Cubs Postseason Live with the Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg and with Todd Hollandsworth. I'm David Kaplan. We'll get you a chance in a couple of moments to get interactive with our show. Get your mobile, your tablet, your laptop, csnchicago.com/vote, and you'll see the results as they tally right on your screen. Again, csnchicago.com/vote. All right, let's talk to Ryne Sandberg first. This is electric. It's amazing. People have been jamming the streets since 3:30 this morning. What's your take on this?
It's incredible. I mean, I don't know if the city knows what to do, but they do know what to do. Come to Wrigley Field before the sun rises, I guess.
It's unbelievable.
I was out here at 6 o'clock, and there were lines for the bars, the early bar lines, and it was there were people out and about. So, I mean, the city is turned upside down, and they've been waiting for this moment. This is a not only a memorable moment, but this is emotional.
It is.
It's about generations of Cub fans that are across the United States, not only in Chicago, but it's all about that wrapped up into right here at Wrigley Field. What's happening tonight? A World Series game at Wrigley Field. I thought I'd never say that.
Right. Rhino didn't play in a World Series. I obviously never did. You won a World Series. What is your emotion looking at this? Because you signed with the Cubs specifically to be in this moment, and that didn't happen.
Well, let me say this first and foremost. I'm privileged to be here. I mean, I can't even tell you how thrilled I am just to be in the building tonight. I mean, you know, we do what we do, but to be in the building, my brother-in-law gets it. I mean, he was crying, you know, when I said, listen, I need for you to bring my sons to the game tonight. I got to work. And he's like, I mean, he just started bawling. I mean, you get it. I mean, it's so emotional. I mean, this place is just charged right now, and you get how generational it is. You see how everybody's celebrating everybody. You're celebrating the people that are no longer with us. I mean, it is an incredible sight.
All right, time for the fourth member of our crew. She's our ace reporter all season long. Here's our Coors Light game report with Kelly Krull.
It's an absolutely unbelievable scene in Wrigleyville right now. Complete chaos, as we all expected, right? Fans decked from head to toe in their Cubs gear, lining the streets, packing the bars, and now filing into the friendly confines. It's got the entire city buzzing, guys. Joe Maddon's club playing in the first World Series game here in Wrigley in 71 years. A historic night that so many people want to be a part of and witness, including the stars of the evening who can't wait to see what's in store.
It's going to be great. So I know that people that have been waiting for this for a long time are going to savor it. And it's hopefully on our part we could do something to really make it even better.
I'm just ready to see the reaction of our fans in this World Series because, you know, like I said, they've been waiting for this, and I feel great to be part of this team after so much waiting, you know, and we got a lot of young guys, and I'm pretty sure they feel great about it.
I can't imagine. I mean, they're probably just as excited, if not more excited than we are, to see that game played there. It's been a long time. They've been waiting patiently, and they deserve to have these games played there at Wrigley. So hopefully we can get some W's there for them, and we know it's going to be electric and a really fun atmosphere.
Vin Zobrist with a fun tweet actually this afternoon, a picture sent to him from his sister in their hometown of Eureka. The W flags are hanging, the lawn decorations are out, rooting on the Cubs and Ben to get the job done here in the World Series. The anticipation, the excitement reaches far and wide, well beyond Chicago. Nothing like anything I've ever covered, and really this is going to be a night that we never forget, guys.
All right, as we all know, the big news from yesterday's off day was that Kyle Schwarber has not been medically cleared to play in the field, so he'll serve as a pinch hitter over the next 3 games. Take a look at what Schwarbs has accomplished. Among players with at least 40 postseason plate appearances, Schwarber has the highest career OPS in the history of the sport. He ranks above Willie Mays Aikens, Lou Gehrig, and some guy named Babe Ruth. Though both Gehrig and Ruth had more plate appearances, more than 100 more, than Schwarber's had. So that leads us to our Cubs fan poll question. And we'd like you to go to your mobile, your tablet, or your laptop. Again, csnchicago.com/vote. Here is your poll question. Make sure you log on there. No special app, and it is no cost to you. You'll see the results as they tabulate right on your screen. Take a look. And here's our question about which team will be more affected by the loss of the designated hitter, the Indians or the Chicago Cubs. How do you vote?
Well, you know what? That's a toss-up for me. But you know what? The Cubs are a National League team. They have the pitchers that have done very well fundamentally. I think our pitchers, I would guess, swing the bats better than their pitchers. I think the little edge there in a National League game. So. Also, we've got Schwarber on the bench for a key moment anywhere in there, preferably 7th inning on with Hendricks pitching, doing a good job. But he could be a key bat there in a big situation, put him into the game. So we don't totally lose the fact that
he's not in the
lineup. But I think our pitchers do a good job handling the bat. They've done it all year.
Huge advantage for the Cubs. Absolutely huge advantage. First of all, Cleveland Indians get worse defensively by sticking Santana in left field. Hasn't been out there in 4 years, and that was only for 4 innings, and it was right field, by the way. The wind is blowing tonight. I think we could benefit from a couple balls just going his way. I think he'll have a hard time probably corralling them. With that being said, the Cubs, to your point, pitchers hit great. We've watched it all season long. They've been a major factor offensively. Hard to believe that the Cleveland Indians pitchers are going to do much offensively. They have not been swinging the bats as much.
All right, I asked the commissioner, but I'd love to get your guys' thoughts. Would you like to see the DH brought to the National League or taken away from the American League? Or do you like different leagues?
You know what? I'm old school, and I'm a National League player. But I understand, and I'm leaning towards a DH actually, which might surprise you guys. I don't know if it does or not.
I'm with you.
But the way that they've cleaned up the rough play around second base, the way that they've cleaned up home plate and the collisions, they want the major players, the high-paid players, and all the players to have a chance to be healthy, so the fans can watch the game, see the players that they want to see. I just think there's a higher risk of a guy like Jake Arrieta, who the Cubs definitely want every 5th day. Rather than him swinging the bat, which he does very well, you could pull an oblique, which is very common today. Rounding, trying to stretch a single into a double, scoring from second base.
Grab a hammy.
Slide into home plate. I think the DH would help the pitcher stay healthy, which I think is a concern anyway in baseball. I think it would take that element out of it.
How about you?
I'm a National League guy. I probably will lobby for them forever. Always have. I love the strategy in the game. I really don't even get into the pitchers hitting. It doesn't bother me.
Because you would have been towards the tail end of your career,
I probably would have lost 4.
DH.
Yeah, well, maybe. Right. You know, depending on what, how you use it, right? Or, a bench player. I mean, I don't know. I look at the National League game, and I love the strategy. I love the fact that we got Terry Francona and Joe Maddon. I mean, I'm looking towards this tonight. In the 5th inning on, who's he going to set up the pitch hit? Who's he going to get up in his bullpen? I mean, these are 2 of the best managers in the game of baseball. And I believe you lose a little of that when you go to the American League style. It's all under control. You control the moments because you don't have that pitcher spot that you naturally rotate out, or maybe you get him out of the ball game. So, I mean, I think that's what I always find myself fighting for. It's not pitchers hitting. It's just the strategy that, and you know this, as a National League manager. Right.
I love that part of it, but I think there should be some balance and some...
right. I mean, I wish you could have it both ways. I don't want to give it up. That's the thing.
The other changes that have been made within the game, for the safety of the players. Right. That's why I surprised myself a little bit thinking about that and leaning towards DH.
Sorry, Cubs pitchers, but I get it. I mean, you shouldn't be hitting.
What type of a weapon is Schwarber, and how do you were a manager a few months ago, how do you use the moment and go, oh boy, 1-1 game, 5th inning, I got the bases loaded, 2 outs, Hendricks up, do I hit for him now, or he's pitching well, I want to leave him in? When do you fire that bullet?
That's the manager's call. That's why they get paid the big bucks, and that's why we're sitting here. It's a tough call. It is a tough call, but you got to see see how the game is going, get a feel for the game. Managers get a gut feel of the game, and they see what's happening, and things start to fast forward 2 innings ahead, sometimes 3 innings ahead. So depending on how things are going, how the starting pitcher's going, how the bullpen's fine. As far as, but during the course of the year, you look at the bullpen, that makes a factor. But you get a feel of the game, and the managers will get a sense on how many runs they feel they need probably after 3 or 4 innings to win the game that night.
How about you?
As far as where Schwarber's going to be used tonight?
Yeah, when do you use him?
Here's what I think. I think you're going to end up using him at the front end of an inning somewhere where you can control his pinch hit opportunity. The reason I say that is if there's runners on first and third, I think Terry Francona is going to put him on. If there's runners on second and third, I think he's going to put him on. If there's runners on first and second, I think you put him on.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think he's going to try to avoid that moment, especially in a tight ball game. They've got so many right-handers over there, unless it's Andrew Miller. But again, that would be Joe Madden using him in his own way. I mean, he's not going to have him up there pinch hitting against Andrew Miller. I think what you try to do is use him at the front end of an inning, where if you pitch around him, you put the leadoff guy on base at the top of an inning. So that's how I'm thinking right now. Terry Francona is prepared to counter any move that Joe makes to give him an at-bat that matters, with runners in scoring position. Mark my words. If this is a close game, mark my words.
I would love to see him come up there with first and second and 1 out and see if they walk the
that would be
or 2 out.
We just watched that. I mean, we just saw it in the Dodgers series. It's not out of
what happened too.
Well, I totally agree with you, but it's not out of character. But I think that's what you try to avoid. I mean, I think this is a snowball right now. You got a snowball effect going on with Schwarber. We're all buying into it. We're excited. They're trying.
And if Terry Francona is sitting there and goes, that guy just hit a 3-run homer, and I didn't walk him.
I need to get out of the way. He needs to get out of the way of the avalanche, the snowball, and I think that he'll avoid it, given all opportunities. We had a pretty good look at their bullpen in game 2, so like I said, you better be careful.
All right, for more on Kyle Schwarber, let's send it over to the Natalie-attired Luke Stuckmeyer.
All right, thanks, Cap. The legend of Kyle Schwarber, as teammate David Ross likes to call it, is going to have to take a different script for the 3 games here at Wrigley Field over the next 3 days. Dr. Daniel Cooper is one of the leading experts in the world in multi-ligament knee reconstruction. He says Schwarber is okay to hit like he did in the first 2 games, but he will not clear him to play left field.
Deep down my heart, I really wanted to, but there's obviously the doubts of the injury. It was a huge injury, and that's the fact. Not many people get this opportunity that I'm in right now. So I'm embracing this opportunity that I got, and I'm going to cheer my teammates on, and when my time comes, I'm going to be ready for that opportunity.
If we had been able to clear him only under the on the condition that he only go 60%, I don't think Kyle knows how to go 60%, especially in a World Series type game, and B, at 60%, you're such a tremendous defensive liability that's probably not worth the offense that you get on the other side anyway. But that wasn't the case. It was black and white. He simply is not medically cleared to play under any, regardless of his effort level.
And of course, Schwarber's already made a huge impact in the first 2 games of this World Series. 2 RBI in the win for the Cubs at Cleveland before they came back here to Wrigley Field. Now we sit and wait for what will be the most anticipated pinch hit appearance in World Series history, probably since Kirk Gibson trotted around the bases at Dodger Stadium 28 years ago. Cap, we'll send it back to you guys.
All right, time for our Maristar Casino Hotel starting lineups. Here we go. Joe Madden trots out with this lineup card. Fowler in left, Bryant at third, Rizzo at first base, Zobrist is in left, Contreras is catching, Soler in right, Baez at second, Addison Russell's at short, and the pitcher, number 28. Love that number, Holly. Kyle Hendricks. Let's talk about Jorge Soler, 0 for 10 so far in the playoffs, but right-hand hitters, 299 against Josh Tomlin.
Yes, well, that's why we see Solaire in there. I believe I believe he likes to pitch up in the zone a little bit, a fly ball type of a pitcher. Solaire in there for those reasons.
Could run into one.
Really like Joe Madden sticking with the guy that hasn't got a hit yet in postseason, but did the same thing with Russell and Rizzo.
And they broke out.
Those guys are due. Solaire's due. This could be his game to pop one, make something happen.
I like it. 22 home runs from right-handed batters against Tomlin this year. He gave up 36 of them. It wasn't like the lefties were slouching, but the batting average certainly stands out. 299. You stack it with righties. He's going to be in there for a couple of at-bats, Cap. It's not going to be an entire game. You know that Hayward's going to be in there eventually with the idea that the Cubs have a lead probably in the 6th inning. You'll see Hayward out there.
All right, let's talk about Ben Zobrist. 5 for 8. He's having a great start to the World Series. What are you seeing from Ben Zobrist? He's been very effective.
He's not missing his pitch. You know, Ben to me has always been this year. When you watch him battling, and he always battles, but there's the difference. When you watch him hitting, and it's a 10-pitch at bat, and he's fouling off pitch after pitch after pitch, there's a few pitches in there that he misses sometimes, meaning he fouls it off. Ryan, you know what I'm talking about. Right now, Ben Zobrist is not missing his pitch. When he's getting the mistake, he's making them pay. It's how it needs to be, and right now he's there.
All right, let's take a look at the Indians lineup. Here's Tito Francona's lineup card he brings out the home plate. They'll go with Carlos Santana leading off in left field. Kipnis at second, Lindor at short, Napoli at first, Ramirez at third, Chisenhall's in right, Roberto Perez, whose wife gave birth to the couple's, I believe, second son yesterday, is catching. Tyler Naquin's in center field, and the pitcher hitting ninth is Josh Tomlin. Let's talk about Mike Napoli. This guy has played very well for Boston. He is an elite bat, and he's had some success. He's a guy you got to be careful with.
Exactly. He's been that big bat, that big veteran guy on this club, I believe, looking from afar. He's like a David Ross for me for the Cubs. Been to World Championships, knows how to play the game, leader on the team, and he's a threat. He's a threat with the bat. He swings the bat. He's strong. With the wind blowing out like this, he's the guy to really pay attention to and really focus every pitch on where you want it, down at the kneecaps.
Yeah, he's their right-handed power threat. 30-plus home runs, 100-plus RBIs this season. Has had a fantastic season for the Cleveland Indians, and most people tell me, and I had the privilege of talking to Peter Gammons today, said in order for the Indians to win this series, Cap, Mike Napoli has to become a major factor for them. Why? They rally around him. He's there, Lindor, he's there, Napoli, he's that guy. I mean, he's got an army behind him. He's very popular with the fan base. When he starts to hit, they start to kind of respond. You know, we've got guys like that obviously in the Cubs lineup as well, Schwarber being one of them right off the top, but Napoli is that for them.
All right, we will see. Let's talk about Jason Kipnis. He came in with a sprained ankle. He made a couple errors the other night. Grew up a Cubs fan. He's a local kid, but he's also a really talented baseball player. What do you expect to see? He had a rough night the other night.
He did. You know what? I was just watching batting practice, sitting right here and watching him round third base. He's got a little limp going on in pregame here. That might go away once the game starts, but might be hindering him a little bit. But he's a quality bat. Real tough, almost like a Zobrist type at bat, battling in there, not swinging at balls, going out of the zone too much. But he's an excellent player, does a fine job in the field. But just wondering how his ankle's affected him.
I don't want him to wake up. He is a heck of a ball player. He's a big reason why they're here as well. I mean, Jason Kipnis has been an all-star second baseman for the Cleveland Indians. He is a big reason why they've been successful. He's a local kid. I pull for the kids here that are out of Chicago just like anybody else does. I'm good to see him having a fantastic career, but I like where he's at right now because he's not hitting. He can change the course of games. He's been impactful. He had a couple nice at-bats there in Game 2. I'd rather him go back to going 0 for 4 until we're done.
Me too. I'm right there with you. I'll pull for him next year.
He can have a great year. That's all good, but until then, we're...
Not this series.
All right, we've got to take a time out here. Kyle Hendricks will be getting loose and getting ready. Cubs, Indians, Game 3 of the 2016 World Series. Epic right here at Wrigley Field. Don't forget, postseason live, postgame style, follows the ball game. You dial right back to CSN. We'll have Joe Madden and all the player interviews.
Look at it, lads. New York City. Just doesn't get any better than this.
Actually, it does. With Grubhub, you can get the best foods delivered anywhere.
Gluten-free pad thai here for Seamus.
I am Seamus.
Gluten-free.
Yeah. Can't even taste the difference. Oh, you gotta lock up that front tire.
We asked people to write down the things they love to do most on these balloons.
Travel with my daughter.
Roller derby?
Now, give up half of them.
Do I have to?
This is the tough financial choice we could face when we retire. But if we start saving even just 1% more of our annual income, we could keep doing all the things we love.
Prudential, bring your challenges. No one delivers more in-your-face hockey than NHL Center Ice and NHL Network. With up to 40 star-studded games a week all season long, bringing you closer to every goal, every save, and every hit that fuels hockey's biggest foes. Feel the power of controlling the most hockey on TV and let the game live where you do. Order NHL Center Ice. For a special early bird offer, call 1-800-GET-SPORTS.
For almost 40 years, I've worked hard to enforce the safety rules on our highways and in workplaces, to hold the negligent accountable. And it's helped make our community a safer, better place. But to keep our community safe and strong, we've got to take good care of our children. This is why I've donated hundreds of thousands to support programs like Kids Stop, Reading Buddies, Teachers of Excellence, and the United Way. And it's also why I only do personal injury law. Because helping injured people win justice is its own reward.
All right, it's 27 minutes until the start of the ball game. Still time to give Feldco a call, 866-4FELDCO. Welcome back to Cubs Postseason Live. I'm David Kaplan with the Hall of Famer Ryan Sandberg and Todd Hollandsworth, the 96 National League Rookie of the Year. Time to look at our Apt Electronics and Appliances pitching matchup, and it's a good one. It's Kyle Hendricks against Josh Tomlin. Kyle started the last two postseason games here at Wrigley Field for the Cubs. In the playoffs, righty 1-1 with a 1.65 ERA. Josh Tomlin 2-0 with a 2.53 in the playoffs. Let's talk about Kyle Hendricks first. What do you expect to see tonight?
I expect him to make Indians hitters miserable, as he's made so many lineups miserable this year. You know, you go into a game against a guy throwing 88, 89 miles an hour, and you're not overwhelmed by it when you get in the box, but you're frustrated when the at-bat's over. Why did I pop that ball up to the second baseman? Why did I hit that 16 hopper to the second baseman? You know, speaking from my experiences anyway. He is going to do a lot more of that. And here's the thing. I love the fact that when he gets that start, you know, he's obviously executing pitches. There's not a lot of hard contact. It always seems to have a lingering effect into the next ball games they play, going up against this Cleveland Indians team. They've never seen him before. They don't know how his ball moves. They don't know how his changeup works. That first time through the lineup, you know, it's probably going to be key for Kyle Hendricks to work his magic and keep the ball down. But when he gets that second time through and starts to frustrate Indian hitters like he's done everybody else this year, I expect to see their at-bats actually get worse like he's done so many times.
Rhino,
their at-bats get worse.
What do you expect to see? Because as Holly said, not going to blow you away with velocity, but he's really, really intelligent.
But you know what, Cap? For this historic evening here at Wrigley Field, I think he's the guy. His demeanor, he's cool as can be out here. He gets locked in and focused to the game plan, and he doesn't waver from that. So he'll be. I think he'll be on the plate early, establishing the strike zone with the umpire, with the hitters, that he's around the zone. He'll expand, he'll move the ball around, hit his spots. But I think he'll set a good tone with strikes, with action for the infielders. Infielders have to be on their toes. He'll be down at the knees. He's aware of the wind. He
quick worker.
Down. Yeah, he works down anyway, so he's fit for this game in all ways for me, especially the demeanor side of him.
Does the fact that as Rhino said, his demeanor, as you as a player feed off of calmness as opposed to some guy who might have an electric arm, but he's flying all over the place, yelling at people? Is that great for the first game of a World Series here?
Well, playing behind it, you love it. I mean, he's a quick worker. That's the thing that I think as a player you love more than anything. I love playing behind Greg Maddux for one reason and one reason only. It's not because I like the guy, of course I do. But Doggy, you know, he was a grinder, man. He just got out there and threw strikes, and you were on your toes defensively. I see that. I mean, listen, we've compared him to Greg Maddux in every way imaginable. Everybody likes to, you know, compare these two guys. I think they're similar but different in different ways. But when you work fast on the mound, your defense responds. Guys who walk guys like Bauer did the other night. I mean, is it ironic that there was a couple errors that night by the Cleveland Indians in that ballgame? No.
It took forever.
Because he was you're sitting there going, man, oh man, just throw the ball over the middle of the plate already. And he just kept throwing high elevated fastballs. It was so frustrating, and you could see it in the defense. So when Kyle's out there working his magic as quickly as he does, you're on your toes.
Let's talk about Josh Tomlin. This is a guy who also doesn't have unbelievable velocity, but he's got a pretty darn good curveball, and he's been, other than the month of August, pretty solid. Righties, though, hit him better.
Yeah, I haven't seen that much of him. I'll admit that. I'm anxious to see what he's got. I'll be looking early to see what he's featuring, velocity, movement. I'll watch the hitters a little bit to see how they're reacting to his pitching. But I think on the offensive side of things for the Cubs, once again, this crowd's going to be anxious to explode.
Yeah.
They'll explode early, but they'll be looking for something to really get going. And this club has reacted to the home field advantage here
all year long.
They love it. So some early offense, some Dexter Fowler, Bryant, Rizzo at the top of the order. That for me sets a good table and again a good plan against Tomlin.
Going to be an incredible night here at the ballpark. We'll see if the Cubs can find a way to win a baseball game. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We have more to do on our pregame show. Guys will give us their keys. So stick around and don't forget, after this game goes final, you dial right back to CSN. We will have Joe Madden and exclusive on-field interviews. We'll be right back.
Hit every mark. Thread every needle. Turn every ride into a thrill ride. The power and precision of the Lexus Performance line. Now available with turbocharged engines for even more exhilaration. Lease the 2016 IS Turbo with zero due at signing for $399 a month for 36 months. See your Lexus dealer.
Welcome to the Apt Showroom, one of the top appliance retailers in the U.S. Explore our full line of Thermador appliances that will inspire and empower you to imagine design and bring to life your dream kitchen. Our team of product experts will work with you, your builder, and designer from the very first sketch to the very last detail. Discover how Thermador is personalized to the way you cook and bring the ingredients of entertaining to life. Visit us at Apt, pleasing people since 1936.
Did you know slow internet can actually hold your business back? Say goodbye to slow downloads, slow backups, slow everything. Comcast Business offers blazing fast and reliable internet that's 10 times faster than slow internet from the phone company. Say hello to internet speeds up to 150 megabits per second. And add phone and TV for only $34.90 more a month. Call today. Comcast Business. Built for business.
You know the feeling. The rush of every roll, every flip, sip, bite, note, and night. You know the feeling. Get it at Ameristar.
Other Chicago sports teams are getting behind the Cubs. Yesterday, the Blackhawks headed to New Jersey for tonight's game against the Devils. The entire team supporting the Cubs with Cubs uniforms to show their support for the North Siders. Hey, it's also almost time for you to get interactive with the show once again. Be sure to get your mobile laptop or tablet ready and head to csnchicago.com/vote. You do not need a special app. It's no cost to you. Just visit that website, get interactive with Holly, Rhino, and me. And welcome back here on Cubs Postseason Live with Todd Hollingsworth and the Hall of Famer Ryan Sandberg. I'm David Kaplan. It has been a festive day all day long around Wrigleyville. Radio shows, TV shows, all going live. Fans lining up outside bars starting at 3:30 in the morning. For more on the madness outside the park, here's Luke Stuckmeyer.
Cap, we went outside Wrigley Field about 3 o'clock this afternoon. There were already Cubs fans, literally this morning, everywhere outside the friendly confines. This World Series, let's face it, is as much about the Cubs and Indians as it is about their fans who have waited decades and centuries for this. Cubs fans waiting 71 years for a World Series game here at Wrigley Field. We found a young lady from Montana who just had the luckiest day of her life.
I went to the Cubs site, and it said to enter for a chance to win, for a chance to purchase tickets. And I got everyone in my office in Billings, Montana to do it, and they all think I'm crazy. But Monday morning, I was clicking through all my work emails, and then I saw from the Chicago Cubs, and oh, this is so overwhelming. I saw it says, congratulations, you have a chance to win Cub tickets. I started screaming. I ran to my boss's office. I started screaming, and he came in and said, it was fraud. He told me don't
But
do
it wasn't. But it wasn't.
No, it
So you
was
got
not.
it.
I got them. Yeah, I just.
You don't even have to show them to me. You got tickets.
I didn't even have to wait in line.
You walked up. I saw you crying in line. I was thinking she didn't get tickets. You got tickets.
I got tickets. I'm going to the game.
Game 3.
Of the World Series.
Whoa.
Yes, big time whoa.
I'm just going to guess you're a Cubs fan if you're wearing all blue spandex. Please keep the towel on, would you, W man?
I'll do my best. Been a lifelong Cubs fan. Grew up not too far from Wrigley Field, and just here to witness history today. And we believe the Cubs are going to get it done.
You don't wear this during the summer, do you?
Sometimes I wear it out to the beach. Yeah, depending. Have you ever heard of the Polar Bear Club here in Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not too bad.
Well, and you got your Halloween costume ready to go.
All ready to go. So I've heard a little kid earlier say, Mommy, can I be the W man for Halloween? Who would have thought it would come to something like this?
So, Clark the Cub, look out for W-Man. He wants your job. And also, Cap, we found a group of fans that have been lining up at Wrigley Field. They've been out there for over 29 hours just hoping that the ticket office will release just a few tickets before this game. They're hopeful. They've been sitting there all night, overnight, no bathroom breaks, 29 hours. Boy, I hope they get in. And that's going to do it from here. We'll send it back to you guys.
Great work, Luke. Thank you. It's time for you to get interactive with our show. Again, mobile, tablet, laptop. Here is the question we're asking you. CSNChicago.com/vote. What is your biggest concern entering tonight's game? A, not having Schwarber starting. B, leaving too many men on base in the first 2 games in Cleveland. C, Miller and Allen in Cleveland's pen. Or, I'm not concerned at all. How would you vote, Dog?
C. I'd vote C. Yeah, C is the one thing that I've been worried about all series long. I mean, Miller's had this incredible, historical postseason. We've watched him, not only, put up incredible strikeout totals, and I thought the Cubs put together very good at-bats against he and Allen both. But the point is this, that it's their weapon. It's the way that they've won. If they start to affect this series that way, that means things are turning on us, and I don't like that. So, again, avoiding them. I mean, it's actually, I'll give you a sneak peek. One of the keys tonight. Stay away from them.
All right. How about you, Rhino?
He's their biggest key, I think. He can go out there and pitch 1 inning. He can pitch 3 innings. He can pitch maybe 4 innings if he's asked to. But yeah, he's a different cat out there as a left-handed pitcher, and he's nasty. So I think he's their biggest weapon.
Yeah, for me, it's leaving, I think, 13 men on the other night. You and I are sitting together watching the game in Cleveland going, okay, guys, I know you got the lead, but you've got to take advantage of some of these opportunities because all of a sudden they get a big home run in the wind and you go, what happened?
I'm not used to adding up all those numbers in the left LOB column. I mean, I got up to 13 for crying out loud. Yeah, I'm all about getting guys on base, but listen, that was a few too many runners that were left on base. I'd like to see a little bit more scoring.
Yeah, but that's in the past. We split there. Why are we talking about we split? We're fine.
Dave.
This is we're going to move from that.
All right.
Hey.
I'm with you. I don't want to see it again.
It's a new slate now. It's 1-1. We're good.
Mr. Positive over there, our guy Rhino. Let's send it over to Kelly Crow for more. Kel?
We are here with tonight's starting catcher, Wilson Contreras, who is all smiles. And we're starting with this because it's such a huge story. All season long, Wilson's family has been in Venezuela, had some visa issues, but last night, you're telling me, they got into town. They're going to be here tonight?
Yeah. I mean, they caught me by surprise. I didn't know about they were coming in. And I think it was yesterday during the day, they called me like they're coming to the United States. And no way. I said, yes, man. When I got to the airport, they were there, and that was one of the happiest days of my life.
How have you described what is going on in the city right now and what they're getting ready to experience tonight?
Oh my God! I mean, I told them to get ready because this city is going to get crazy, especially when we have the first game at home after 71 years, and I'm so excited to start the game. I cannot wait to start.
What was it like walking into the ballpark today?
It was an amazing feeling. every day is getting better, and I think that we have the best crowd in baseball. Once you get to the clubhouse, you can perceive the nice energy that we have, like positive energy. And I mean, I just got ready, went to the cage already, and then I'm ready to play.
Will you describe what it was like to see your family for the first time since January?
It was awesome. I mean, I started crying because finally my complete dream came true. They're gonna be here tonight watching me play, and I'm starting today. Plus, I mean, I'm so happy. I have no words to say. I mean, it's really nice.
You're starting today along with Kyle Hendricks. You guys have worked together quite a lot, but on a stage like this, in a World Series game, could you have ever imagined that?
I mean, we didn't, but we did a nice job in his last start, and now we are in the World Series, and I think we want to keep doing our job. Don't try to do too much, just keep it simple and hit the right spot with the right pitches.
Aside from the history, aside from what the insanity is like in Wrigleyville, one of the storylines in this game was what the weather was going to be like as we get back here to Wrigley, and we're looking around right now. The wind doesn't seem like a factor, but how could it be a factor with a guy like Kyle and for you when you're hitting?
If you start windy, it's going to be great for hitters, and I know Kyle Hendricks can keep the ball low in the zone, but if you start getting cold, it's going to be bad for the hitters, good for the pitchers because the ball is going to travel too far. But I mean, you have to make good contact and see what happens.
Last but not least, when you step out of this dugout tonight and this crowd goes bananas, what is it that you want to soak up and keep a mental picture of? I'm gonna start having fun, like I always say. I'm gonna get into the field and start talking to the fans and start joking with them, and that's how I got my mindset, like I'm not trying to put pressure on myself. I'm just going to do my best behind the plate and see what happens. Hey, keep it simple and have fun. Wilson Contreras, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
All right, there you go. That's the hottest ticket in town, that 2016 version. The 45 version didn't end in a championship. We'll find out if the 2016 one is a ticket to a title. We'll come back with a whole lot more. The guys will have their keys to the game, our key performers, Cubs, Indians, epic at Wrigley. Be right back.
I refuse to let myself be limited. I walk the walk of a man who isn't afraid to wear floral. I don't want to just look at the man in the mirror. I want to know who he is. It's me. I'm comfortable in my own skin, but a man can't walk in public in his skin alone. In the end, you can't waste any time thinking about the end. Wear what you want to wear. Just don't wear any doubts.
Four Seasons, how can we help you?
It's the furnace! The old pile of scraps burning through my savings! Hurry!
Remain calm, we're on our way.
24-hour repair and same-day installation. Four Seasons can replace your furnace for as little as $17.95. Furnace and AC combos from $36.95. And take advantage of 0% interest financing for 5 years.
For all the right reasons, call 866-4 Seasons.
Wild Mustangs.
I can't believe we live in the middle of all this.
They're supposed to be one of the most gentle creatures in nature.
Really?
I read that once.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these.
Wild Mustangs?
I can't believe we live in the middle of all of this.
They're supposed to be one of the most gentle creatures in nature.
Really?
I don't know, I read that once.
That's why more people save money by combining their home and auto with State Farm. Here to help life go right. State Farm.
When you visit Canals BMW, your toughest decision is which BMW will you drive home? A sporty BMW convertible? BMW sedan? BMW coupe? Or one of these BMW high-performance luxury models? And of course, everybody can get into one of these beauties. Canals BMW. Outstanding selection, competitive pricing, always a great decision.
Time for Built for Business, presented by Comcast Business. Today we're looking at the most World Series wins at Wrigley Field, and we're looking at World Series wins by a ball club. The Tigers lead the way with 5, those coming in the 35 and 45 series. Yankees in second place with 4, those wins coming in 32 and 38. Cubs have 2 World Series wins at Wrigley, same number as the Philadelphia Athletics, who won their pair in the 29 Fall Classic. Comcast Business, built for business. All right, welcome back in here to Wrigley Field. We're getting close. Cubs and Indians, Game 3 of the 2016 World Series. Let's talk about the Cubs' approach at the plate. They've been very good, patient about grinding every at-bat. And we saw the other night Schwarber grinding against Andrew Miller before he got a walk, one of only 2. He's given up to a lefty. What is a grinding approach to you guys?
Well, what a grinding approach is the ability to go up there and really a lot of times fight off pitchers' pitches. What it
Spoil
comes down
pitches.
to. Well, yeah. We talk about grinding, it's usually with 2 strikes. I mean, you're not always looking to get there. You certainly want to put yourself in a position to, make good on pitches that you can do things with. With that being said, if you do get down, much like they did against Bauer, you got to fight off tough pitches, take the bad ones, work the count, and let that pitch count get up there. Here's the one thing that we saw in Game 2. Get in the Indians' bullpen. There was clearly some vulnerability there. I would expect that would be the same again. There's at least some familiarity down there because the Cubs hitters saw basically the entire bullpen. So with that being said, you got Tomlin in there tonight. Again, he hasn't gone over 100 pitches in almost a month. If you get that pitch count up near 70, much like they did the other night in the 2nd or 3rd inning, you're in great shape. You're getting yourself to what you want to do. That forces Terry Francona to use other guys not named Miller or Allen.
Well, there's very little history with the Cubs hitters and Tomlin. So what I'm talking about grinding is going up there, guys, seeing a lot of pitches. If you get a pitch to hit, go ahead and drive it. But battling with 2 strikes, and the other hitters take notice of what he's throwing so that they can come up there and have a little bit of an advantage as being down in the lineup. But guys at the top of the order, making it tough on them, put some pressure on them, make it tough early on. Not some easy 1 or 2 pitch outs, but battling. Let's see what he's got first, and that'll really come through and for the bottom of the order and the second time around through the lineup.
All right, got to take another timeout. We come back. These guys will have their keys to the game. We'll get you set. Cubs and Indians. It's going to be phenomenal here at Wrigley. We'll be right back on CSN.
I'm Dan Fields of the Fields Auto Group. We've prepared a Joe Madden Signature Edition vehicle. It will be raffled off at the end of the season with the proceeds going to many of Joe's favorite charities.
But not before I have the pleasure of driving it to and from the ballpark. Thank you, Dan, and everyone at Fields Auto Group for this special vehicle and for making this all possible.
For official raffle rules and complete details on how you can win this Joe Madden signature vehicle, go to fieldsauto.com.
It is an honor for Fields Auto Group to help good causes like Cubs Charities and Misericordia. Fields matters because you matter.
From outdoor renovations to updates inside your home, Menards is here to help. Get an 11% rebate on everything in the store, including thousands of sale items. Whether it's a fresh coat of paint or a whole new building, you'll save 11% on all of it, so you can finish your latest project and start planning the next big thing. Get building with an 11% rebate on everything, even sale price items, now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Moving a 295-pound refrigerator is not easy. Moving your wife's 17th century colonial stemware collection is rarely easy. Moving Mr. Smooch's is never easy. Fortunately, moving your favorite entertainment with DirecTV is always easy. Just one call before you move is all it takes. Done. The DirecTV Movers deal. Easy now comes with bundles and equipment upgrades too. Call and ask about all the benefits today.
For almost 40 years, I've worked hard to enforce the safety rules on our highways and in workplaces, to hold the negligent accountable. And it's helped make our community a safer, better place. But to keep our community safe and strong, we've got to take good care of our children. This is why I've donated hundreds of thousands to support programs like Kids Stop, Reading Buddies, Teachers of Excellence, and United Way. And it's also why I only do personal injury law. Because helping injured people win justice is its own reward.
I don't know if, envious is right, but, again, really what the Cubs are doing and they have done, I think we aspire to do the same thing. We're early in that process, but, it always helps to get your players back, I'm sure, and I'm sure Coach Madden would tell you the same thing.
All right, Bears will play on Monday Night Football. Time for our keys to the game. Start with Holly Time, brought to you by Fields Auto Group.
All right, here we go right off the top. Tomlin's curveball certainly is going to be a factor in this ballgame. Now, he threw that curveball 36 times in his last outing of 85 pitches against the Toronto Blue Jays successfully. That's the key to this. He has changed his game plan a lot. Now, early on in the season, as I told you before, Gave up 36 home runs and 174 innings pitched. He has had the knack for giving up the long one. He likes to throw strikes. He's actually given up more home runs than walks this year. So, again, I think that curveball is going to be a huge factor. What I'm talking about is using the middle of the field. Make sure you stay through the middle of this guy. He only throws 88 miles an hour. He will not blow you away, but you've got to have honest at-bats. If you go up there trying to do too much, he will get you. He's been effective with that curveball, so keep your eye out for that. You'll see him using it an awful lot tonight. Skip the script. Cap, you and I were just talking about this. Can you avoid the Miller-Allen combination at the end of this ball game? That's what you don't want to see happen. That's what Terry Francona wants to make happen. Drive that pitch count up. See if you can't get Tomlin out of there a little bit early, much like they did in Game 2. I think you'll expose that bullpen again. And how many times this postseason have we seen the Cubs just shred a bullpen when it's not the closer that they're having to deal with? And again, Homer happy. That's one thing I think is going to play into tonight's ball game. There will be some long balls.
Your key to the game, Rhino.
First of all, it starts starting pitching for me. It always does. That's Kyle Hendricks. This is going to be a different atmosphere, could have the chance to be a different atmosphere. First World Series game in 71 years here at Wrigley Field. I want Kyle Hendricks to just go about his business, treat it like any other game. Stay ahead of the hitters, have the defense do their job, and set the tone like he always does. So
calm,
settle the nerves if there's any. But he, like I said before, he's as calm as they come. So I think he's the right guy for the task.
All right, we've got to pick our key performers. Rhino, you get first pick.
I'm going to Anthony Rizzo. He's been waiting 3 or 4 years for this moment. He had 200 lost seasons with the Cubs. Here he is at the World Series, the first one at his home ballpark. He can't wait to do something big.
That is a tremendous pick, Rhino, but the problem is that Rizzo ate Rizzos, Solero ate Soleros. That's where you go with this pick. 0 for 10 so far this postseason. Breaks out tonight. He's going to catch one of those hanging curveballs and put it out. He's going to keep performer win.
I'm just being a good host because I won the other night with Ben Zobrist, and I should have had the first pick. I let you guys go.
But you stole him from me because I was right on the first night with Zobrist.
Yeah, you were.
With 3 hits.
No question. So
Your ship is sinking, pal.
I am going to go
jumping
Chris
off your boat.
Bryant. Monster night for the Cubs MVP. Chris Bryant has a big night. Don't forget, when this game goes final, you dial right back here to CSN. We'll be on a field for Cubs Postseason Live. You enjoy the ball game. You have a wonderful night. The World Series is being played at Wrigley Field. It's awesome, folks. Have a great night. Go Cubs. We'll see you after the game.
This Cubs Injury Report is brought to you by ATI Physical Therapy, taking physical therapy to a higher level. Ask your doctor about ATI Physical Therapy. Get there.